Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and I would like to say that we have got a really good race today. Unfortunately, I lose my head in this one and do something I wasn't very happy about. But before we get into the video, I'm just going to dive into the race difficulty, make sure that we're on the hard settings, and then we're going to head across to Europe and to Germany for the Nürburgring Nordschleife for the European Clubman Cup 600, which I'm going to do in the BMW M3. Now we've got racing soft tyres on. The car is pretty standard. We've got the output adjustment of 100, ballast to 0, power stroke to 100, so maxed out there. We have got the carbon brakes and I've got some weight reduction items in there, but otherwise it's fairly sort of stock. I didn't want to push the PP too high on this one because I wanted to have a half decent race, but boy, did I not realise what I was in for. Now I did try this with the Porsche 911 set to 600 pp and struggled like mad. I tended to find that this BMW was quite nice. So going into this first corner, second gear, and then we want to try and get up the inside of the Audi through here, up into fourth gear, leave it in fourth gear all the way through here, and then you want to try and line yourself up on the blue car here. And we're going to go down the inside, down into third gear, using a bit of that curb to rotate the car. Just leaving it in third gear all the way through here, trying to pick a spot past this car as well. And then still really leaving it in third gear as we get up over the top of the curb to use that concrete section and then get around the yellow car. Now I did run this a number of times, and I tended to find there was two layouts of cars. One was with the red car to start, one was with the yellow. So if you're finding the cars don't fall nicely for you, then maybe back out and give it another try. Monstered it through there. I just dropped down into fourth gear just to balance the car as we overtook those two cars, and then up into fifth gear as soon as we can. Thinking about how we're going to overtake the Audi. He's gone to the right, so we're going to go to the left and then just get it slowed down for this corner. Be careful not to run out onto the grass. This Porsche loves to showboat around this corner, getting the back end out, so we decided to go around the outside of that and then onto the back of the Testarossa. Hopefully we can get that one done on the way down as we flick inside of the Alfa, taking a bit of the grass as the door was closed on us, and just really pushing this as hard as you can. Watching for the top of the rise here, just down into fourth gear to get it slowed down, and then third for this surprisingly tight right and then left in second gear. That one catches me out all of the time. Now I have said before with the Nordschleife, I'm not going to go through every single corner. I'll leave you to rewind and slow down the video to study what I'm doing more, but what I tend to do is have some pace notes, or what I used to do was have some pace notes to, getting on the grass a bit there, got away with that just about. I used to have some pace notes, so it would have a call out of, this corner being a right 90 degree third gear, so it'd be like a right 93, something like that. This one would be a left, left 20 degree 4. You get the idea, and you just call that out. All caught the barrier there. It's a little bit untidy as we're trying to get through these vehicles here. You just have those calling out like a rally driver so that you know what's coming up. I have also got the track map on, and after running this a number of times I was getting a little bit of a feel for the track. Now you'll notice there I got a little bit untidy overtaking some of those cars. That is because the first place car is a massive 20 seconds still down the road, and you've got to get through those cars if you want to catch up with the leading car by the end of the first lap to give you half a chance of getting to the end of the race ahead of him. And I'll talk more about why that is the case later in the video when we catch up with him. So for now, really just pushing on through the track to try and get as much speed and to get that gap down as much as possible. Beautiful track this, I absolutely adore it. The more I run it, the more I learn it, the more I enjoy it. The more I run it, the more I learn it, and the more I enjoy it. It's a never increasing circle, as in my enjoyment increases, my knowledge increases, my skills around here increase, and it's just awesome. So lining up on the 911 here, just going for the inside. The door closes to tuck in behind him so we don't run him off the road. At this point I was trying, I know I'm not going to get a clean race, but I was just trying to keep this as clean as possible. I was trying to keep some of these overtakes nice and clean rather than being, you know, a complete animal around here. The carousel was interesting. A couple of times I actually overtook people through the carousel, which I didn't even think was possible. A couple of times they went high and I managed to get her through on the inside. That's something I'd never done before. Never did that in this race. It was a little bit more settled down, but you know, we could never believe that you could actually overtake people through the carousel. We're getting into a little bit of a sort of a complex of corners here, where I was sort of balancing fourth and third gear quite a bit. So as you can see, I'm just running fourth down to third, back up to fourth, back down to third. Those two gears through this section work well for me. Maybe not the fastest way of going through here, and you'll notice I'm not necessarily using all of the track, but as an average racer, this worked for me. It meant that I wasn't hitting the barriers and losing more time all the time, and also it did keep the car relatively settled. And you'll notice that we are now in second place, and we are 7 seconds behind the leader at the moment. So you will catch up with the leader through the twisty sections. This bit I love through here. You just got to get it slowed down as you come over the hump, otherwise you're going to wind up in that gravel trap. But I love that little section. It's really, really nice. Yeah, so we're catching up with the leader, but you'll notice that as soon as we get onto the long, fast, sweeping sections of the track, that time gap will go up quite significantly, as it will in a moment. We've actually got the first place car in our sights now. The hardest thing at this point is to drive your lines and your braking points, and not to try and just catch up with that car under braking in 2 or 3 corners, because it just will not happen, and the only thing you're going to do is find yourself in the barrier very, very quickly. So we're coming round onto the main straight now, so we're nicely tucked up behind Gallo, thinking that we might actually be able to pick up a slipstream, but just look at that distance: 1.4, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2. He's just driving away from ourselves, and I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to catch this car and stay in front? And this is what I was on about earlier on. You've got to get through the cars at the early part of the race, because you're going to need to catch up with Gallo or whoever is in first place, because I'll tell you now, whoever gets in first place just runs away. They are in an absolute rocket ship. Considering this is supposed to be a 600 pp race, and we're over that already. That car is an absolute rocket ship, but it is slower through the corners. So what we've got to do is get through the traffic, get behind the first place car at the end of the lap. I'm a little bit further back than I would like to be, so that through this initial complex you need to try and chuck it up the inside and get in front of that first place car, then holding behind you and try and eke out a bit of a gap. So this is my opportunity now. I just messed that one up, just slowed it down a little bit too much and got a little bit too much of the grass. Through here we're getting closer still. It gets a little bit wayward there. Can we go down the inside? Yes, this is the overtake. Down the inside, we get that move done, and now we really need to make some distance between the two of us. You're going to notice that he's going to come back at us, so it's a little bit of defensive driving. Just drive your line. He's the one doing the overtaking. He's the one that's got to find his way past you. So just hold your line, drive your lines, and let him do what he's got to do. You can already see in the mirror behind that he's fallen back a little bit by about half a second. That is because we are quicker through the corners. But then under the long straights where he can get up to speed, he comes back at you again. He backs off big time through that corner, which gives us a bit of a breathing space. Down into third gear for this one. Ride the apex, get the power down as soon as you can, but without spinning it, and just try and get a little bit of distance. I managed to get 1.3 seconds. Just try and get a little bit of distance between you and the second place driver, just so that you can try and keep him behind you all the way down through here. Again, he's right back with us, so it's we are going to need to make some real headway through the really twisty parts. That's where this race is either going to be won or lost, because we are so much quicker through the twisty parts of this particular track. So again, just through there we're out to 1.6 seconds. That's now coming back down now that we're in free running track, and he comes past and oh, he hits us, punts us off onto the grass into the barrier. What is the AI doing? And that is the point where I really lost it. I've been running this track for quite some time, for about an hour or so, and to be doing okay, to have got in front, to have got a bit of a gap, to be blatantly punted off like that really annoyed me. And I thought, right, you little stinker, I'm going to have you. And I don't often do this. Normally I'm quite collected, and there we go. Bang into the back, put him into the barrier, sent him around. Unfortunately, he doesn't 360, but that just gives us a little bit of distance. So 1.7 seconds now. Unfortunately, he's got it straightened up and he's already bearing down on us, and he will catch up with us very quickly. I should probably have bided my time and put him off on a different place and really spun him round. But there we go, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, one for one. Now we're going to settle down and see if we can bring this home in first place. So through this twisty section, really pushing it, mostly fourth gear through here, we've managed to get the distance up to about 1.5, 1.8 seconds. It does come down, so it's very difficult to give you a distance, and you can notice that for some reason that AI car is braking on the apex of these corners absolutely needlessly, and that is just giving us a little bit of an opportunity. It's coming back at us again, and I managed to shut the door just ever so slightly. One of the hardest things with this is keeping your eye on the track and where you're going and not focusing on the car behind. I did that way too often, so my advice to you would be to drive your lines and let that car have to find its way through you, which is, it's more difficult than it sounds if you are braking and apexing these corners quite nicely and just position your car in sort of the middle of the track as you're in free running. So as we're coming to the carousel, just going to drop it into the carousel, leave it in third gear, bring it all the way around, back on the power as soon as possible. I jumped out just a little bit early there, but I wanted to get on the power as quickly as possible. We've managed to get the gap up to 3.2 seconds, but now look, it's dropping again as we get into this fast sweeping part of the circuit. So that time is going up and down, up and down. It's like a roller coaster, and you don't want to focus on it too much. Just focus on your driving and leave the car behind to do what the car behind needs to do. For now, it's a case of just watching every apex, thinking about everything through here. I tended to do third and fourth gear just to keep the car nicely balanced, keeping it under control, and just really working it. Watching the track map for the severity of corners. So this one I'm going to just leave in third gear as we come around, looking for the curb on the exit. Looking ahead, we've got another sort of 90-degree corner, so I'm going to go third gear through that one. Just overcook that a bit and put it onto the grass, just pushing on because I know that Gallo is going to breathing down my neck any minute, and we are running out of time and approaching that very long straight. So this is my only real opportunity to try and build maybe a 7 or 8 second lead, so that I can try and get down the end of that long straight before he swallows me up. At the moment we're sitting at 4.5 seconds, which really isn't enough. So well, that's the reason why I'm really pushing this. See, fourth gear through here, third through here, and overcooked that a little bit, got it up onto the gravel, which has cost me a little bit more time. Just really pushing it a little bit too hard. Adrenaline pumping, my heart's going, my hands are sweating. It's just really, I'm driving this thing as fast as I possibly can. We've done all we can now. Now we are in the lap of the gods. Gallo is 5.5 seconds behind, 5.6, 5.7, so we made a little bit extra. We didn't quite make 6 seconds, but look at that time plummeting now. 4.9, 4.8, 4.6, 4.5, 4.4, 4.2, 4. He is catching us like you wouldn't believe. No point looking behind, just got to run and run and run. We want to try and get into this little section at the bottom, but no, he comes by. Look how fast he just sweeps by us. I try to pick up the slipstream, and then through here, just braking as late as I dare. The car squirming around everywhere, just trying to throw it up the inside. Through here, I left that as late as I could, just a little bit too late. Second gear just to get it slowed down and turned in, leaving it in second, and then a run to the line, and yes! First place in this race. It wasn't overly clean. It was a crazy race. 2 really nasty incidents. One where Gallo hit me, one where I decided to hit back, but hey ho, don't really care. That's gold for this particular race, and that's how I got gold on the Nordschleife for this Clubman Cup 600 race. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, please hit the like button. I could really do with a few more likes on my videos just to help the channel along. And if you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button to help me as well. It would be greatly appreciated. And thank you to everybody that's continuing to subscribe and support me. Your support is greatly appreciated. So we'll be back at the Nürburgring for another couple of races coming up very soon. Smash the bell button for notifications of when they come out. But for now, I'm not going to admit to what time in the morning I finished this one, but I was pretty tired. I was pretty much done in, and we're going to do the next couple tonight. For now, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again, I hope, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.